In this guide, we're continuing to delve into Uncaged, Faces of Sigil. I left the 12 Factals Inn and headed down Dawsey Street. There, I heard the most beautiful sound. Soft, dulcet tones slink and drift through the ladies' ward, tugging at my ear. My feet moved closer. I could hear the flute-like voice, hypnotic. The music drew me in to this beautiful fountain that had a group raptured, listening to this beautiful voice. There, above the circular stone pool, fully 100 feet across, dozens of tilting metal basins rise high into the sky, each catching of falling waters from the basin above. It rings with unique musical pitches, delicate mixtures of violins and voices, in full bloom. It's as soothing as a celestial choir. There was a woman who looked a shade under 30. Dewy milk-white skin glistened with the reflected ripples of the pool. She sang in perfect melodies. She beckoned me forward, and my feet moved on their own volition. She held out a ladle, dipped it in the pool, and I drank. Then, a voice, definitely not mine, sprung forth from my mouth. It sounded like a choir. I could see the crowd in awe. She held out her hand, asking for a small donation of 5 silver pieces. She leaned forward and whispered in my ear. She put her finger to my lips. The knowledge belongs to Bragi. He merely shares it with me. I staggered back into the crowd and disappeared. Sprawling grandly between the city court and the Palace of Jester is a fountain of marvel. There is a circular stone pool, 100 feet across, with tilting metal basins that rise high into the sky, each catching the falling waters from the basin above. The basins ring with the unique musical pitches, delicate mixtures of violins and voices in full bloom. It's as soothing as a choir. Not one blood in Sigil can remember a time when Black Marian wasn't the keeper of the singing fountain. Of course, some may know, but choose not to tell. But the slender priestess of the Bragi resides at this pool in the center of the ladies' ward. A few leatherheads think the fountain's water is elixir of youth, but such claims have never been proven. Graceful, the priestess slides about as freely as a will-o-wisp in an airy white cloak. Fine flaxen hair flows like a hood of corn silk down the middle of her back. Fact is, only her large eyes, both iris and pupil, the same cold, dark shade of ebony, lend truth to her name. Whenever the pale green feathers of Sigil's pigeons clog the fountain's pool, souring its perfect melodies with dissonant, plaintive chords, Marian hands one to a sod or two, and most are greatly honored by the gift. Of course, she generally pins the feathers to her cloak and wears them in her hair. Some say she's a siren. From time to time, she augments her performance with a variant of an enthrall spell, which guarantees a rapt audience for the duration of her song. She considers herself a public entertainer, and for a price, she divines a future for anyone who drinks from the pool's water. She keeps a silver ladle tied to her belt under her cloak. When a customer steps forward, he takes the ladle, dips it in the pool, and drinks. He opens his mouth to speak. Instead, words and wondrous music are emitted. After a few moments of listening, Marian hears the customer's future and whispers it into their ear. How does it work? With a cool air of mystery. She just smiles, and she'll never tell. Now and then, she'll even pass a few words for an adventurer who doesn't trust their message, and works with the Celestials, who covertly deal arms in the Blood Wars. Many rely on the priestess to pass codes to clients, suppliers, and each other. Most Sods wouldn't be able to pick up on her communications, which makes her hiding in plain sight. With the jink that she collects, she buys herself a good meal, a small room, usually at the Dusty Wig, a spit-shine boarding house for judges and advocates who need a hole up close to the city court for morning duty. Fact is, the inn's owner, Bala, always holds a room for her faction comrade, whether she shows up or not, no matter where she stays each morning. She takes whatever is left over to the hive, or she gives it to the poor, or the smithies there, struggling to find their muses. She even usually drops a few dozen coins into a hat of the musical fencer twins, Morven and Phineas. Once she's emptied her pockets, she returns to the singing fountain, and she starts cleaning the night feathers before the draw of the new crowd.